Huh?
Did we get our link out real
Oh
quick?
yeah, I'll send it out here. Fuck.
Yeah. We don't want to stink without the link or with the link in
But yeah,
general.
let's talk about a rye brewing here
Yeah.
real quick.
Ooh, nice. Yeah,
In
yeah.
the old Monkey Wrench building
Hmm.
there, which I'm sure you've been to many a time.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
What do you?
it's the Monkey Wrench. I never really had a. I remember I went there a few times and like just it didn't really catch on with me. But that porch, that upstairs, I guess one could technically consider it a rooftop bar, even though it's
Yeah,
one story. I mean, it is on a rooftop, and it's got a nice view.
for sure.
Yeah. So I thought the Monkey Wrench was good. But then whenever I went there when it was V Grits,
Yeah,
I never had the V Grits themselves, but I did have the microbrewery. I think that was
yeah.
sometime last summer, and it was like I thought the beers were kind of by the numbers, not certainly not bad, but yeah, I'm gonna have to try out the new place because that's just a prime location, and I mean somebody's got to do something big and good with that building someday.
Yeah, I have some pretty positive Monkey Wrench memories only from the fact that they were kind of just like life staples as opposed to like it's more like they occurred there than as a
Yeah,
result of being there.
yeah.
I watched it was one so when we played Kentucky in the tournament,
Oh yeah.
it wasn't the Final Four game. It was I think the year
Oh,
after,
that Sweet 16 game.
just a fucking brutal affair,
Oh
like
yeah,
just
yeah. That was no
was that the
fun.
Harrison twins?
Yeah. That was
Fuck
like the
those
yeah.
guys.
That was probably the worst Louisville loss
It was
I've
brutal.
ever
So yeah,
experienced,
not
and I don't know
exactly
if it'll
like a
get worse than
positive
that.
memory, but
Yeah.
still of course, very encompassing memory of being in that space, which isn't
Right.
exactly like a great place to watch a ball game.
No. I mean, if I remember correctly, it was a very dark bar.
Yeah. Which
Like
was
like
probably for the best for like a game like that. You don't want like bright
yeah.
lights. God, it's funny. We don't really tweet a ton anymore, and I'm just firing this link off everywhere.
Yeah, no, I fired something out with Vanguard again today,
I
because
saw
they had
that.
another
I saw
excellent
that.
looking hot
I
dog.
know. God, I could have done without the pickles because I'm not a pickle boy, but man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it just looks. I
But
mean,
yeah,
man.
so back to it's called Awry, AWRY. And they updated the space a little bit on the inside. We didn't go upstairs, but yeah, like I was saying before we hit record, the food. Oh, you got to go. So we got some tenders and some cheese curds, and they have
Ooh.
like 10 different
Cheese
sauces.
curds. That's
Yeah,
very Vanguardy.
yes, like pretty standard Milwaukee ass cheese curds. Like
Uh-huh.
they were pretty authentic and
Yeah.
bunch of different sauces. And like I ordered first myself, and then Chris left and came back, and then he ordered like everything and literally got every sauce. He's like,
Oh
I'll take
man.
all the sauces, which is the
Classic.
name of a Barry episode from last season, which is
Oh,
tight.
nice. I need to watch Barry. That's one show I'm just not up on. So
Oh,
maybe that maybe.
it's an easy watcher because it's 30-minute episodes. So
Okay, yeah, I might have to do that after I get done with Succession, which that's been picking
it's
up
a
lately. So
natural succession, given that they ended on the same night too.
a good successor. They ended on the same night.
Yeah,
Damn.
both series concluded on the same evening.
Did they air back to back?
Yeah, yeah. I think Barry was only 3 seasons, so it was one less season.
Okay.
But yeah, there's an
Yeah.
episode called "All the Sauces." It's like yeah, we took the crew to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we had all the sauces.
All of them. All of them.
All right,
Everyone.
let's get rolling here, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Welcome to the Brain Buster Boys, episode 112. My name is Brett Jagger, along with I had thought of something the other day and forgot, but the pimp, Beaumont Brand.
Pimp Daddy. Yeah,
I had like a good one the other night, and I'm like, oh, this is great. But
yeah,
I forgot.
yeah.
But you're a pimp,
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I pimp out many things.
How are you,
Pimp,
dude? We've been recording so infrequently of late. This is it's a nice little treat.
It is a nice little treat. Yeah, good little treat. So I'm great first and foremost.
Good.
Speaking of pimp, have you ever heard of the process? I think they do this in like law school and medical school. It's called pimping. It has nothing to do with sex
Is it easy?
or money. No, it's not. It ain't easy.
No,
Not
no,
not
no.
not not at all. It's hard out there for a pimp.
It is. I've heard that.
But yeah, basically what it is like if you're a medical resident and not maybe, or if you're a student and you're in the hospital and you're observing a doctor, like a doctor will come up to you and be like, all right, we got like just randomly out of the blue, we'll be like, all right, we have a patient coming in with lacerations on their stomach, with cirrhosis, with all these like symptoms going on, and you have to like react on your feet and be like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to administer this, give them
That's
this,
pimping.
Yeah. So they do that, and I think they do it in law school too, where they just present like a
Put
case
you
or a
on the
question.
spot like that, basically.
Put you on the spot, and you have to respond. And I don't know how it factors into any sort of like assessment or grade, because I think law school, and like most graduate schools and medical schools, like a pass fail thing versus like you get an A, B, C, stuff like that. So
yeah,
pimping.
Well, hey, pimping. Speaking of pimps. Our boy Nick from the Universal Wrestling Podcast. Sup, boys? Sup, dog? Hope you're enjoying your night out with I don't know if you're out with the baby, but with another couple. Well, I was texting Nick earlier. I actually I'm trying to invite a couple people on tonight because I am a little buzzed. So I've just been
I can't remember the last time I might have to have a couple drinks for our next show, because I can't remember the last time I've really just sort of sat down.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me for sure. Well, and again, like we said, it's been a little infrequent due to, our schedules, but specifically mine, just working a lot of nights, a lot of weekends, draining, late hours, but it's all good.
It's all good.
Life is good.
Yeah,
things are good.
We'll have our Sunday, Monday routine kind of, because those are, we both have Sunday off and then Monday. Yeah.
For me, like once we get like post Labor Day, like busy season will kind of, slow down. So I'll have definitely some more available nights and not weekends when I'm working till 3 a.m., which even that should hopefully lessen a little more. But again, life is very good. I wish I could be, at a pool a little more or things like that. But, I got little to complain about. So,
yeah.
But I do want to mention, not really related to this show, but Cincinnati sports. I know we talked about them a few weeks ago. And, just got done watching FC Cincinnati have a big comeback win over your favorite team, the New York Red Bulls. I just imagine you just get a kick out of that team because, like,
yeah. I mean, like, but they've always been that, right? I assume Red Bull paid and is continuing to pay for it. And Red Bull, if I recall correctly, which you're about to find out as I Google it, they're Austrian, as a matter of fact. They're an Austrian company.
Put another shrimp on the bobby.
Yeah, the company is Red Bull GmbH. Yeah.
Did you get that Dumb and Dumber joke there? Come on.
Oh no, that's from Dumb and Dumber.
Well, yeah, because he's like, I'm from Austria. He's like, Austria. Thinking Australia.
Right.
He says, put another shrimp on the bobby. Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't it be funny?
My boy Ivan, circle of the debate. What's going on, you sexy beast, especially one with the hat? Poppy Chulo, excited for G1 Climax 33. Of course I am. I love you, baby. It's been too long.
Let's see.
But yes, what were you about to say?
Like a good reverse joke for a Dumb and Dumber, if they made a Dumb and Dumber 3.
Yeah.
And if I could squeeze a joke in, there would be, if instead if they were like talking about Australia and they get it confused with Austria, and they'd say something with like an Arnold Schwarzenegger accent, oh yeah, Australia, get to the chopper.
What if Gunther was Australian?
He's oh my God, yeah, and he's just been hiding this accent. He doesn't talk very much.
No, he does not.
Yeah, the Imperium guys are his mouthpieces.
Yeah, specifically Ludwig Kaiser, who's just been killing it in that role.
Yeah.
The ring, get around, and we'll get into Money in the Bank here, even though it's a little dated. But
and real quick,
what we're going to be doing. Yeah, let's keep cooking here.
Oh yeah, to swing us out of here with a fun fact. And this is actually Red Bull is the third most valuable soft drink brand behind Coca-Cola and Pepsi now. Wow. So like, because I kind of thought like, oh yeah, New York Red, that's kind of
they've entered the conversation.
They have. Well, that's kind of like less of a sponsor of a team and more of something you would see on like an NBA jersey on the breast
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
the name of
Well,
an
and that's
arena.
why
Yeah.
soccer's so funny. Is like we're FC Cincinnati. A lot of teams are like that, or like something FC.
Yeah, like a
But like the
European name.
original, I think we've talked about this off air. The
Mhm.
original MLS teams are all like mascot based,
Yeah.
like the Colorado Rapids, San Jose Earthquakes,
Yeah.
DC United, close, but now it's a lot of just like the FC or whatever, that diction maybe. But yeah, it's pretty funny. But just the Red Bulls being a brand over
Right.
anything else is funny.
Yeah. Which is, yeah, I mean, that's like, been there for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I don't think they were an original team, but they weren't too far off. And then like
Oh, yeah.
now there's another New York team, which is just NYCFC,
Mhm.
So it's like if you were in New York, I bet you'd be a Red Bulls guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I would try to be. I'd go out of my way.
Which I think they're in New Jersey because I heard, like, I saw ads for Hackensack, and I think they referenced Jersey on the
Okay.
broadcast.
So they're kind of more like the New Jersey Nets or the Devils or, kind of that off the beaten pathway thing.
But
Yeah.
like,
I, I
the New
I would
York
make an
Jets
effort.
and Giants are both Jersey teams,
Yeah.
So.
Very true. Yeah. But yeah, like I kind of wonder, like, or I kind of feel like the NYCFC has to be the bigger team.
I think they are now.
But when they were created, I bet a bunch of like non-soccer fans or people who like to watch, who, how people always pick random teams in the Premier League to follow.
Yeah.
For whatever reason they
because we don't live
them.
there. You gotta pick someone for some reason.
Eddie likes what Tottenham tits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, kind of like, you kind of pick your team and you, for whatever reason, you go with it. So I imagine like a lot of those people who weren't fans, NYCFC came along and just those people and stole a bunch of Red Bulls fans. And now they're, like, where are they? Where are they at in the table anyways?
The Red Bull, I don't know. Why don't you pull it up? I think you probably already are.
Yep.
I know the Red Bulls kind of struggled earlier in the season, but it seemed like they've been on better form of late. But yeah.
Yeah, they are 11th. NYCFC is 13th in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, so neither of them doing very well this year.
They're 6, 8, and 8. It appears after tonight.
Hey, who's number one in that table?
BFC Cincinnati at 14, 6, and 2.
Yeah,
it appears to be the best record, and
the whole league by far. Yeah, and just real quick, the game. So we're down some players that are playing in the Gold Cup for the Team USA, which is actually happening right now and about to go into penalty kicks, I believe. I've got it on the
because they had a game. I actually watched the beginning of it when I was at Taj on.
And the previous round, which was like
it was at TQL Stadium. Yeah,
correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're about to go into penalty kicks with Panama. But real quick, we were down 1-0 whole game, got a penalty equalizer in like the 80th minute and then scored the game winner in the 93rd minute. And it was tough.
Wow. Yeah, that is extreme. What was it? 2-1?
2-1. And we've got the Cincinnati Reds in first place in the NL Central here at the All-Star break. And we all know how good the Cincinnati Bengals are. So it's fucking great. It's nice to have good teams for once. You know, I hope we can win a championship, but I'm enjoying the ride, baby.
Yeah. No, I mean, this has to be the best collectively Cincinnati professional sports has been in like 30 years.
No doubt.
And perhaps in our life, or maybe like outside of the early part of our lifetime.
I mean, I think definitely in our, because obviously we were children, toddlers when the Reds won the World Series and the Bengals were going to the Super Bowl in the late 80s, early 90s. So.
Yeah. And so, that was pretty much it. All else you got to compare to. I mean,
That's pretty much it. Yeah. The rest of the 90s and early 2000s were pretty bleak.
So. Well, and the Reds too. I mean, shit. I mean, what was that Pirates playoff game? Because I know we made the playoffs during the COVID year.
Yeah. 2020 against the Braves.
And it's hard to kind of count, everyone kind of.
Yeah, it was 2 months
foggy on that
60
year.
games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that Pirates wild card game was like 2014.
Yeah, so
13, 14. It's been a while.
So it's been kind of 10 years outside of the COVID year that the Reds have just, kind of flailed around and management is kind of, has
Been poopy.
antagonistic,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then you just get these guys, and obviously led by old Ellie De La Cruz, but young guys that are coming up and playing well and playing with heart and passion and fire, and similar to the Bengals, kind of
Mm,
coming from out of fucking nowhere and really taking
mm,
the city by storm. And
yes.
it's amazing. So
It is
yeah.
amazing.
But we're here to talk some wrestling. It's
Yes.
been a minute. We're gonna talk some, as we said, Money in the Bank, some AEW Collision, which is pretty
First.
strange after the last time I was talking shit about it, but it's a pretty good program.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, very different presentation that I quite enjoy, but we're gonna get into that. But yeah, anything else here just about life in general, or anything else you want to discuss here before we roll into it?
I went and
Oh,
saw
yeah,
Indiana
I was
Jones
just
on
gonna ask,
Saturday.
how was
Yeah, I did.
Indiana Jones?
Oh man. So, it was leaving the theater, I kind of thought it was like pretty mid. But like it's since my thoughts on it have since improved. It's fun.
Entertaining, at least.
It is, yeah, and the character parts with him, like sometimes, like a lot of people, like Indiana Jones is kind of like hardly a character. He's just kind of like the guy who goes on adventures, and you don't really know much about him other than he's like a professor and he has a whip and like the superficial aesthetic things,
Mhm.
like the things that you conflate with like Harrison Ford a lot of the time, the actor, the
Yep.
person. But yeah, they gave him a little bit of character depth this time, and there was some like especially the ending. The ending got pretty batshit and was legitimately exciting and surprising. But yeah, it's like 2.5 hours long, and it's sort of just structured where it's like there's the build up where you find out about the thing they're looking for, and then it goes from chase scene and the chase scene to chase scene, and like
So it's like a spot fest.
it is a spot fest. Oh, totally. It is very much. It's a great comparison. It is a big spot fest where, and none of the chase scenes, they were kind of long and none of them were really remarkable. Each of them had their moments. Like it has like a 25-minute prologue in the beginning that's set in 1944, and the president of the movie set in 1969, where he's de-aged, and like yeah,
Yeah.
with all de-aging, it kind of has its moments where it's like, wow, this technology's come a long way.
Yeah.
But I thought it was decent. I think it was definitely better than the Crystal Skull, but inferior to the other three.
And
It
as
was
I talked to you recently, like I've never seen Crystal Skull,
wow.
and I need a review of the original
Well,
three because it's
well,
been
well,
so long.
well. I would honestly recommend like waiting for this one to come out. On Disney Plus, because like if you're going to spend like $15 on a ticket, it's not going to be in theaters for much longer
Oh
because I know
yeah, I
it's a
mean
big box
clearly I
office
would.
flop.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
watch all the others before this,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah. And like he's 80, so he can't do a lot of the stunts.
Yeah.
And one of the funniest thing was during the de-aging part, like they de-aged his face, but his voice is the 80-year-old voice. It's pretty ridiculous. But
That's good.
but yeah, and like kind of in the chase scenes, all he does is drive the car. Like I think there's one part where he jumps from one like rickshaw to another.
Yeah.
And then there's the scene in the trailer where he like rides a horse away from the subway in New York, like down in the subway tunnels. So yeah, but that was actually kind of cool. You would think that's pretty silly in the theater, but they kind of bring things back a little bit. I kind of after went and saw it, I watched the Red Letter Media bit, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to some other stuff. I'm like, what movie podcast do I know? And the first one that popped in my head was
Film Rage.
yeah, I listened to Film
Had
Rage
to
for the
be.
first time. I did.
Hell yeah.
I did, and they didn't like it at all. But it was a fun listen, and it was kind of cool to especially those guys who've been supporters of our show.
Yes,
I'm
thank
going
you.
to listen. So
Absolutely.
so they have a fan now.
Lovely.
But yeah, there were like less than 10 people in the theater when we saw it, and it was the
Yeah.
second Saturday after it was out. So yeah, it doesn't bode well for how long it's going to be in there. But no, I enjoyed the experience. But yeah, it's a 6.5 out of 10 kind of movie if you want to put a number on it.
That's fair.
Yep.
Hey, I'm gonna go grab another twisted tea here before we get into it. So give me 1 second. I'll be
Get
right
twisted.
back.
Fire your Indiana Jones questions at me if you got them, and I'll try to answer them. TikTok. TikTok. Nobody had any Indiana Jones questions while you were gone. What the fuck, everybody? Sickening.
What's up?
Oh no, I asked anyone who was listening. I was like, I'll answer your Indiana Jones questions
Oh,
now. No one had any. What a
well,
bunch of assholes.
Panama stopped the first U.S. penalty.
Oh wow. So is this the Gold Cup final or semifinal?
Semifinal.
Okay.
So I'll keep you updated. But
Yeah.
what do you want to talk first? Do you want to do Collision first since you just watched it?
Yeah, I mean, Money in the Bank was what 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's say Collision for sure.
All right. I had it pulled up here on TJR. But yeah, first off, I know previously you had just watched like Punk's opening promo on Collision episode 1.
Yeah.
But from watching the majority of, a full episode, we did skip a couple matches that you could probably guess what they are. But what do you think just in general of, the presentation, different commentators, just the look and feel and, kind of differentiating it from Dynamite or anything else they've done?
With commentary, it reminded me more of WWE. I don't know if it was the presence of the English guy. I forget what his name is, but like it kind of
Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, it kind of had more of that flair, which I kind of associate AEW commentary with, like kind of Taz and Excalibur's just kind of goofy enthusiasm, and then JR's just kind of, being out of it, and then Tony Schiavone, who you kind of think like you have that connection back to WCW with him,
and he's just happy to be there.
Yeah, but no, like that was cool. The setup was different, and I think it was just because of the Fight Forever advertisement that was in the back, but it seemed like the crowd, and I don't know if this was the shape of the arena in Regina gets me, but yeah, like it seemed like the crowd was further away, and like the barricades were a little different. It wasn't that classic like black barred railing. So yeah, it definitely had a different look and a different feel. They a lot more red. They had this sort of effect that was up on the screen by the ramp that was like this big triangle thing that keeps like kind of coming, sort of like a screensaver would be the best way to describe it. But yeah, it was it definitely, they've gone to lengths to make it seem different.
Yeah, and one thing I liked is just right off the jump, the first moment of the show, I think it might have been Powerhouse Hobbs, but just like giving a quick promo, and then it cut to a Ricky Starks promo, and then it cut to a Bullet Club Gold, like just those promos right off the bat before the intro of the show felt like very 80s to me.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that touch just because, you're used to just like show intro. Oh, boom, light the fuse, break the new dynamite. And then we're here. Exactly.
Yeah. And then the big sweeping shot in the arena and the fans.
But you still get that. But before that, you get these 15-second promos from a few different guys that I really liked. And then just in general, I love Kevin Kelly, who's the lead English commentator for New Japan. And I love Nigel McGuinness, ROH legend. You probably haven't seen any of his wrestling. He's one that had to retire early due to concussions, but had some fucking legendary matches with Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor and many others as well. We'll have to go back and review one time. But yeah, just it's definitely a different feel. And I think Eric Bischoff may have even said something, and he is one to not pull his punches when it comes to AEW and Tony Khan, but like he called it like the most refreshing thing to happen in wrestling television in however many years. So, some nice praise there. But yeah, I watched this. So I work Saturdays basically like 7 p.m. to 3-ish a.m. And I don't go to bed right away. So I'm still kind of wired and up. So I watched this show at like 3-something a.m. on Saturday, or I guess Sunday morning, and really enjoyed it. Obviously there's some stakes with both the Owen Hart Cup matches, the tag team match, which was fucking awesome, had some stakes, obviously not for the title, but for the to earn a title shot.
That one was right in the middle of the Daily Motion video.
Yeah, cut it in half. But I'm just like, I thought this was an awesome show. I'd said a few weeks ago that I was, not going to watch Collision or wasn't as interested in Collision after Punk's promo. But, I'm slowly warming up to the guy. He's not pissing me off really. So, overall, just as a whole show, and again, we skipped the Julia Hart match and the Action Andretti Scorpio match, but just what'd you think? Did you enjoy this?
Yeah, I did. No, I think that, like I said, it was a refreshing is a good word to put it. Like it's definitely
Yeah.
different enough. But yeah, I thought it was a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with that big FTR like that big match in
So
the middle.
fucking good. One of
Yeah,
the best TV matches of the year, period. Any company, I think.
yeah. No,
What do you
like that.
think? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was just saying.
All
Yeah,
right,
that was
we'll
just
get into
really.
that match, obviously.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the Elton John theme song? Saturday nights are for fighting.
It's got a different, because a lot of wrestling stuff, is sort of like butt rock or, just kind
Mm-hmm.
of dark, like, like
Yep.
angry music,
I
like light.
dig it. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of it.
No, yeah. I like something that's a little bit more, fun and, a little like lighter,
Yeah,
so I think that was a pretty good, a pretty, like I said, it makes it seem different enough, you know.
no doubt.
But then then it opens up and you have like CM Punk come out there and just piss everyone off and rant.
Well, I feel like he was getting definitely more cheers this week
Yeah.
than he was at Double or Nothing for sure. But yeah, clearly he is the Collision guy. They're
Uh-huh.
opening the show with him. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm not as upset about it anymore.
No.
I'm warming up to it. If the guy continues to have good matches and good promos and isn't a prick,
Yeah.
I'm on board because he's one of the best talents that have ever come across this business. So we kick it
Two.
off with an old rivalry, an old
Mhm.
Team Taz rivalry.
Uh-huh.
This is just the start. But Ricky Starks defeats Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't have the time in front of me. But a solid match, it was a hot crowd. The Canadian crowds have been very hot. We said it before the tournament even started. We're like, this has CM Punk versus Ricky Starks final written all over it.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're going to get, obviously.
Yes.
We'll talk about the other match later. But this match didn't light the world on fire, but I
Not
definitely
particularly. Yeah.
enjoyed it. And Panama just saved another penalty. I think we're about to lose. But yeah, good stuff here. Not great, but good stuff. Powerhouse Hobbs also been pretty prominently featured, and Starks on Collision, and he's been a Punk guy. They've teamed together, so. But yeah, not too surprising here. Getting Starks in the finals, he needed a little, another little push up, a little rocket going on. So,
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. No, I think this was, like just pretty solid effort all around from these guys. It kind of made me wonder, like, is this like the last vestiges of that Team Taz plot line that was like so popping whenever we first started this show?
Number 2.
Yeah. Is this the end of that? And it kind of feels like it almost like might be like, this was the final like end of that. Like nail in the coffin means more emphatic, but it just kind of the petering out of that whole thing. And then that's a big thing of what I thought of, because like, yeah, they have beef with each other, but it's like, when was that their last match? Like
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. So like it's been like sort of simmering, but now I feel like there's a definitive end to that. I think Ricky Starks just kind of has a different trajectory than Hobbs. Hobbs has got the whole QT thing going on, which that's kind of fun to pair him with.
Although that may not be going much longer.
Yeah,
he
after
the match,
shoved him right on his ass. But
yep.
but yeah, I couldn't help but think, like I said, decent match, but I kept thinking like, man, like this Team Taz stuff, is like finally like petering out, because this is the sort of the last big, connection with that. I mean,
Yep.
who else? I mean, Hook. He's got all the.
Well, now I was
going
gonna say, now we've got it's Taz himself. Clearly, Team Taz is a thing of the past at this point, but Taz himself is now solely focused on fuck Jungle Boy or Jack Perry, if you will. But yeah, solid match for sure. Nothing to write home about, but
right.
stuff.
And Brian Cage is like worlds away from these guys now.
He's now in the Mogul Embassy. But our boy Justin Time,
hey, Justin.
211, tuning in. We love you.
How are you doing, buddy?
Dude. Yeah, good to
nice seeing you,
have
Justin.
You here. But yeah, we'll move on here. But yeah, well, let's mention again that Powerhouse Hobbs. You remember Powerhouse Hobbs, right?
I do. Yeah. I remember him.
He
Good
pushed
memories.
QT after the show or after the match, so some friction here. Powerhouse Hobbs. I think they were chanting Powerhouse after the match, so we haven't really seen him at all as a baby face. So is that something that would interest you? Because I think after this that could be on the horizon.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he's just been a heel or on a heel team the entire time. So, I mean, there's plenty of big guys for him to go up against, get him back in like the TNT title mix, or, maybe fun to see him do a match with like Orange or something like that. That could be fun. So, I feel like that's sort of where the area he's hovering around. Ricky Starks, again, I think is a little bit higher aspirations, a bit more of a better talker, already a pretty established singles guy here, gonna have a big match with Punk. So yeah, that's already pretty sad.
No doubt. And Panama did defeat the United States 5-4 on penalties. But the silver lining is FC Cincinnati will get two of its best players back. So
There you go. Yeah.
there we go. So next we had the quick Miro promo, which is wonderful just to see him back on our television screens again because it's been over a year.
Yeah, long time.
Nothing really of consequence here. Obviously, he had a squash match on Collision at some point. I assume that's going to be continuing how they're going to reintroduce him. But let's get the man a real feud. Well, actually, no, it's not him. It's Andrade in the House of Black. But yeah, let's see Miro and Wardlow. I feel like we've talked about that a million times on this show, and I've talked about it on others. Like, what are we doing here? Come on.
Yeah.
But like I said, happy to see him back. I assume you are as well.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, it's great to kind of, see him back in the mix, and, like, it's good that they have a thing like Collision where you can kind of have just a space for him, because I mean, right now, I mean, when you think of Dynamite, you think what, like MJF, you think the Elite, Blackpool
Combat Club.
Yeah. You kind of have, that whole slate that's just kind of, Jack Perry.
And we've talked, ad nauseum about the bloated roster, and now, we're seeing this, separation, for lack of a better term. Obviously, guys are going to be crisscrossing, but more TV time, and TV time that's not Rampage, no disrespect, but, this feels more important and is more important for now, and hopefully they can keep it that way. So then there was a little backstage thing with old Willow Nightingale, who had an incredible match with my girl Julia on a recent New Japan show that was so good. Julia defeated Willow Nightingale for the New Japan Strong title. But this was pretty much delaying the match with her and Athena in the Owen Hart Cup semifinals due to injury. I'm guessing she just probably got banged up in that match because it was very physical, and it's like, yeah, we'll delay it. But Willow and Athena had a fucking banger in Ring of Honor earlier this year. That's one of the best women's matches of the year. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And Willow just catching steam overall. Two great performances in Japan. So looking forward to seeing more of her.
There you go. Toot, toot.
Toot, toot. Next was the Julia Hart match that we skipped. And then a brief video package about the Andrade and House of Black feud. Did you happen to catch this?
I did, yeah. And then the House of Black stuff was pretty obviously very cinematic and fun and moody, atmospheric. And the Andrade bit was a little bit more dry, Yeah. Miro, Justin is right. He did.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Miro bringing up his double jointed wife. You gotta love that.
Yeah, I do love that. I do love double joints. but yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I thought like it was a fun contrast because I mean I feel like I haven't seen Andrade in like 1,000 years.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean that promo was just kind of a lot more dry compared to the House of Black. But I mean that's a fun contrast where you have like a microphone guy versus a pre-recorded movie atmosphere, like guy. So yeah, but then he was like, whenever I put on the mask, it's business. So and then I remember the reporter just kind of like didn't really have a good emphatic sign off. She was just like, okay, whoever she was. I haven't seen her before. The blonde.
think it was Lexi Nair, yeah, who's kind of been like mildly featured on Dynamites maybe before, but yeah, she's solid. Yes, and then next we have the outstanding tag match with Jay White and Juice Robinson, the Bang Bang Gang, defeating FTR to earn an AEW World Tag Team Championship match. This went like 30 minutes or pretty close to, multiple commercial breaks. Although the feed, that Daily Motion feed, didn't have commercials, so you could watch the whole fucking
Oh,
match.
yeah, you did. Yeah.
Very nice.
And this match was right in the middle of those two videos.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
right smack in the middle
But
of them.
this was just a fucking excellent, just straight up tag match.
Yeah.
That's what FTR is the best at. Old school, follow the rules. FTR, great tag shit. Obviously a little chicanery from the Bullet Club guys, but so many near falls here down the stretch. I bid on multiple. Like I said, it was probably 4 a.m. by the time I'm watching this.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved it. I gave this 4 3/4 stars. Like I said, one of the best TV matches of the year. And it is just a sheer fucking delight seeing Jay White on our television screens here in America.
Yeah, and I wonder if
he
he's
is one of the best talents in the world. Yeah, go ahead. Unleash, baby.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of like the, bloated roster too, like what a great place to have him, because it would just totally suck if it were just Dynamite and Rampage and you're trying to find a way to work this guy in.
Yep.
Like damn, that would have just sucked. So I'm glad he has a spot, because then shit like this can happen.
Well, I think I said it before.
So
I think it was on our show. It might have been someone, but like you bring Jay White in, one of the best talents in the world, 2-time IWGP World Champ. The guy's no slouch. Like treat him like a star. And he wasn't really initially, and like you said, to your point, now that Collision exists, it gives him that platform. And I've never seen him cut an in-ring promo unless it's after a match, just because just how New Japan is structured, they don't cut like in-ring promos just to advance storylines. They have matches, and if you so happen to be in the main event and you win, then you can cut a promo in the ring. Everything else is backstage after the show. So it's just a different feeling with him to see him out there, and he's one of the best. And I put it up, Justin, saying pay-per-view quality tag match on TV. Love it. Absolutely. But yeah, just overall in this match, I mean, you've been mildly exposed to Jay White. I think maybe you've seen a New Japan match.
I think so.
I can't remember for sure.
Way back when.
But yeah, just general, impressions of Jay White and Juice Robinson, who's, kind of been up and down in his AEW tenure, but I feel like, they're really catching some fire right now.
No, they really are. No, I mean, they're just like both just really exciting performers, just, playing some really like great heel roles, like excellent heels. And I don't know, like Jay White is just like very sneaky and slippery and just like very like just I don't know, like has sort of a different package that he brings that I wasn't really familiar with, but just kind of not necessarily like the grippy rolly thing, but like sneaky.
Yeah, he's kind of the whole package.
He is, yeah. And so I mean, I think that they're great. I think certainly we'd all like to see Jay White just take on some more like single stuff down the road, but I think this is a pretty nice place for him now. And I mean, a big fucking win. It's FTR.
Absolutely. I mean, mostly clean too.
Mostly clean.
It took, like, I think Juice hit like a DDT or something, and Jay had to like keep the opponent at bay in the ring, which I love too. Usually you see them like holding them back from being outside the ring, but to like run interference in the middle of the ring to prevent the pin breakup, I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, no, I think that, I agree. And I mean, like we kind of got near the end too, as this match just started building. I watched with Teets and he was just sort of like, is that the end? Is that the end? I'm like, no, they didn't do their finishing move. And it was FTR. I'm like, oh, it's the big rig. And then they did it, and then interference and stuff. So yeah, I mean, like kind of, whenever it gets past that point, whenever like the finishing moves get out of the way and, you have a breakup or a kick out at 2 or something like that, it kind of got to that point and it was just great after that. So yeah, I mean, like definitely want to see more of Bullet Club Gold just around. And have they been on Dynamite some or?
I don't
you know,
think so.
lately? Just
And I
mostly
don't know if you
Collision
know
Beast
the
kind of
the
thing?
Gun Club is also in the group now.
Oh,
Hence the Bang Bang Gang, because Bullet Club, Gun Club, it all
okay.
makes sense. So yeah, it's all
Cool.
been happening on Collision, but yeah, they are,
Interesting.
I believe, official members of Bullet Club Gold now. I'm not 100% on that,
And
but
it's just those four?
yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I'm down.
yeah, good
I like that.
shit. And yeah, I mean, just an outstanding, outstanding match. So
Yeah.
next, there was a little video package with Sean Spears coming back into the fold. I ain't mad
Oh,
about it.
Lord. Yeah, yeah, I haven't
He'll
seen
be
him for 1,000
he'll
years
he'll be
either.
challenging
Even
Luchasaurus
doing.
at the next Battle of the Belts. And then we come back, and Tony is interviewing FTR, and Jay and Juice show up, and they challenge them to a 2 out of 3 falls match next week for the tag title. So
Yeah.
that's going to be fucking great. The FTR, when they were the Revival in WWE, had an incredible 2 out of 3 falls match with DIY, which is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, man.
So, and they had the 2 out of 3 falls with the Briscoes last year. So, I think this will be pretty good. So,
Yeah.
something to look out for
Yeah.
next week. Next was Scorpio Season defeating Action Andretti. We skipped that one, but like those guys. But again, I'm watching it 4 a.m. and you had limited time to catch this before we
Yeah,
recorded.
yeah.
So,
And weird to think Scorpio is like, was a TNT title guy and then,
well, he'd been off TV
off TV
forever.
forever.
This
Yeah.
is the first I'd even like heard of him in a while.
Right. And with no like dark and elevation too, it's sort of like, like these guys are having to get their matches on TV now. You can't just like toss them out there to tick a box,
Yep.
or to fulfill some sort of part of a contract, so yeah, like I think, maybe kind of getting rid of those YouTube shows is really finally, bringing these guys back on TV,
Yep.
with
Yep.
Rampage being sort of like ancillary as it is, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
much staying the same.
Hmm.
But yeah, main event. We have the rematch from, I think, 2005 was the last time Punk and Joe tangled.
It's been
But
that long.
yeah,
Wow.
they had 3 legendary matches, 2-hour draws, and then Joe beat Punk in the third match. So as the whole build-up was CM Punk had never beaten Samoa Joe, which of course he was going to, and he did. But it was a good match.
It
It
was a good
wasn't
match.
anything epic by any means. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was very solid. The crowd was very, very into it. Joe kind of pummeled him for, 2/3 of the match. And, Punk kind of sneaked out the roll up win there. I wish it was maybe a little more decisive, but I think they probably got another, maybe an actual pay-per-view match in them at some point. But yeah, this was good stuff. And, like I said, a great way to close a very good show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah. Again, like this was, like you said, a pretty good, like just solid all around match. Both guys were just kind of doing their thing, like doing their style. Joe, seemed, I don't know, for some reason he seemed a little, because I feel like he gets paired a lot with just like these bigger guys, and it was fun to see him. Maybe not with like a tiny person like a Darby, like they did that, but with somebody who's still smaller, but like Joe's pretty quick. I think this
Mhm.
match showcased a lot of the quickness. He's had a lot of good like grippy kind of moves. Had that when he was trying to choke him out standing up, um, and just also realizing at that moment like how tall he is.
Yeah.
What is he? Is he like
6'2",
six
3 maybe.
6'2"?
I
He
don't know.
looked
I don't
he
know
looked
for
he
sure.
6'2". He looked very tall in that shot
Yeah.
compared to Punk when he was sort of just like when eclipsing him a little bit. But no, I thought this was again just a pretty just solid all around match, with both guys. Kind of in a good way, mostly what you would expect.
Yeah, how are you feeling about CM Punk now? Obviously, you didn't quite have the vitriol that I did and, the history that I
Yeah.
have with him. But, I know you didn't love that opening Collision promo either. But
Yeah.
after the Forbidden Door match and after this, how you feeling about him? Oh, Phil Brooks.
Uh, we'll see what happens when he really gets in a story with a lot of shit talking and just a lot of stakes and just build and going back and forth. Because right now it's just kind of him by himself
Mm-hmm.
talking to the crowd, and in matches where there's like a record storyline where it's like, oh yeah, almost 20 years ago I had these matches with Samoa Joe, where there's like kind of that, you know, I know like Samoa Joe attacked him at the end of the match, but like with that, I guess respect, like less like story driven and more just like here's two guys who are good at wrestling, who have been
Who
good at
have
wrestling
done
for a
it
long time.
before? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like I am reserving like ultimate judgment until he gets in a story and we see kind of what becomes of that. But as of right now, I mean, they haven't done that. I mean, I'm sure they're
It's
resisting the
coming.
impulse. No,
It's
it has to
coming.
be coming, and like whenever it happens, it's going to be a really big deal.
Yep.
Especially if it's like I had saw something online about like blood and guts. Like, is he going to be on the Black Bull Combat Club team?
That was out there. I
Yeah,
don't think
which
so, but
yeah, but
that
like
would be very, very. I doubt it, but
yeah, well, I mean, the nuclear option is going to be there. Like the big red button is going
yeah.
to be there the whole time. So it's when they're going to push it.
And you gotta
Um,
feel like I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon,
yeah,
but it's gotta happen at some point.
right, right, and I will
Even
say
if it's
this,
just Kenny versus Punk, singles
right,
match.
right, and I appreciate the restraint.
Yeah.
I do. I like I can appreciate the restraint for now, but ultimately the red button will have to be pushed because that is the nature of red buttons.
Yeah, and we saw kind of heely Punk at Forbidden Door. This was not that by any means, but I would love, and it's hard this day and age with him having so many fans for to do like a full fledged heel turn. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see it because CM Punk is best as a heel, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I feel like it may be like a feud to feud scenario where
Well, I
depending
don't.
on who he's feuding with, he may be the heel, and
Yeah.
sometimes he may be the face.
Well, yeah, and I don't think he's going to win anybody over, until he becomes a heel. So I think he has to go through this heel valley, if
Yeah,
you will, heel valley, like the setting of Back to the Future. So
there you
yeah, there we go.
go.
Yeah. So he's got to go through the heel valley before he gets to the face mountaintop. Before he can get back to that point where half the people who are fans of AEW will accept him.
Yep. All right.
Mhm.
I need to make PP real quick. Do we want to do a new ad or do we want to still roll with Smooth Sack Some here?
We could stick with. Let me see. I haven't.
Here, I'll let you look into that as I PP.
We got summer barbecue that I just sent you. Oh, it is really funny. The Bang Bang Club member. There needs to be a Bang Bang Club member code. You know what the top food for Bang Bang Club is? What they serve there? Bang Bang shrimp.
Oh,
That's what it is.
JCB in the
CB.
house. What up, pimp?
I just sent you summer barbecue.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah. Let's cook it up,
There you go.
baby. All right. I see you.
I see ya.
By the way, Will is so addicted to fucking vapes now.
Oh really? Oh my!
He doesn't have one, but yeah, he loves sucking
Always,
on them.
always bumming it off people, and he's never been
You remember
addicted to
when we were
nicotine.
in
But at
Columbus?
the
He's like,
show,
these
yeah,
should
yeah,
be outlawed.
he should be outlawed. Yeah.
All
Now
right.
it's all right.
All right. I got this shit. Cannonballs this summer. It's not about the size of those cannonballs. It's about making a splash with our friends at Manscaped. Prep for barbecue season by making sure your grill master has the hottest dogs the summer's ever seen. When you're at the cookout, let the meat speak for itself with Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0. It's time to get ready and not sweaty, Bretty, by going to manscaped.com and using promo code BBB for 20% off and free shipping. Tell them more, buddy.
All right, the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to guarantee you'll have the most mouth-watering treats at the party. They have built the ultimate bundle for your summer grooming. Their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Ceramic blade. Yeah, not a metal blade, but ceramic. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on-off switch that can engage a travel log, and it gives you the ability to turn that 4,000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Beach, pool, or shower or bath, technically. This razor will devour even the strongest pubes, even hot tub. But now that you can feel safe wearing a low-cut swim, not above the ground pools though.
No.
Now that you can feel safe wearing a low-cut swimsuit without any stragglers peeking out, use Manscaped's liquid formulations, basically the ball freshness version of cracking open a cold one. They've got crop preserver ball deodorant, keeping you cool from sunrise to sunset. Got their Fiddler on the Roof vibes going. With a soothing aloe vera formula, it's the best in the business for below-the-waist freshness. And they even threw in 2 free gifts to the Performance 4.0, the boxers and the Shed travel bag.
The Shed.
Wearing sandals. Okay, for a second, whenever they brought up sandals, I'm like, do they make sandals now? Because I'm a big sandals guy.
You are a big sandal guy.
Yeah, no one sees my feet very much here unless you see me in person. But they don't have sandals, but they have this, wearing sandals with some nasty toenails during the summer months. Take a look at the Billy Shears 2.0, a luxury nail grooming kit. This kit includes stainless steel nail cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors as a treat. Add in the crop mops to your order, a moist towelette made specifically for your beach balls. It's the best midday refresher to stop your popsicle from melting.
Speaking of popsicles, I'm drinking the Rocket Pop variety of Twisted Tea. It is the best in the biz. Yeah. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code BBB at manscaped.com. Twisted Tea should sponsor us too. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with the code BBB. Manscaped, the perfect way to get your patties sizzling hot this summer. And I tell you what, your balls will fucking thank you.
Yes, sir. I have to say, I forgot one thing. Whenever I talked about Indiana Jones, I have to mention was I got on Chat GPT and had it write an Indiana Jones scene where he uses the word ding dong and has a sidekick named Tito.
Let's hear it.
Hang on. Well, there's one where he talks about, I had him do 2. There's one, he says, there it is, the legendary ding dong of the ancient gods, worth a fortune, but its power is untold. My favorite thing was when Tito, he walks into a temple. Tito, keep your eyes peeled. We're getting close to the ancient ruins. Tito, excitedly. You got it, Dr. Jones? Ding dong. Let's find some treasure.
I've been using ding dong so much lately.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing that Chat GPT will use, because if you there's certain words like you can't even use the word like fart, but ding dong is one that you can sneak in.
Calling someone a ding dong is fucking tight too.
Yeah, like Micah especially.
Oh yeah. So let's quickly, since it's been like a week and a half, run through Money in the Bank from the O2 Arena in London, England.
Yep.
We start out with Damian Priest defeating LA Knight, Logan Paul, Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Butch, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And what I'd call one of the better Money in the Bank ladder matches of all time.
Yeah, pretty good one.
Yeah, the end, I thought it was very uncertain who was going to win coming in. I know we'd talked, Logan Paul and LA Knight, specifically LA Knight, seeming like the front runners. But they has a lot of nice sequences late in the match, specifically teasing LA Knight winning with, Butch coming up late, him fighting off Damian Priest, etc. Obviously, we had the Logan Paul Ricochet spot that was pretty fucking wild, and I
Yeah,
can't believe.
and didn't Logan Paul get pretty hurt on it or
Well, I
something?
think
Yeah,
it was part of the no, not like I don't think he was like
kayfabe hurt.
yeah. So like he went on his podcast and talked shit about Ricochet
Uh-huh.
for being unprofessional, and then they built that into the promo on Monday because clearly they're heading to a SummerSlam match. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was all like worked in
Yeah.
kayfabe. But the spot itself was fucking wild. I remember when we were watching it, you see him dangling on the ropes. It's like, no way they're going to do this. No way. Oh, fuck, they did it.
And he hit his neck too on the
Yeah,
table, if I recall
it was
correctly. Yeah,
wild.
pretty rough shit.
But yeah, just fast fucking pace from the get go. We talked about it in ahead of time. Just an interesting, good collection of guys here. Butch, Nakamura, Escobar being
Yes.
guys that don't get a ton of shine here. And at the end of the day, it's Damian Priest hoisting it up. I think everyone and their brother kind of thought LA Knight was going to win this. His time will come. The crowd was certainly hot as fuck for him.
Yeah.
But it's Damian Priest, senior Money in the Bank. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like to dust off the old thought bank here. Yeah, I mean, this was like sort of blocked and set up really well because like there was never like a ton of chaos in there. There was always like 2 or 3 guys, and then there would be people out of the picture, and then there was kind of like a good ebb and flow to that where it was structured really, really well. And everyone really got their chance to shine because of that. It was a little subversive, I guess, because we thought LA Knight, Logan Paul. But yeah, Damian Priest, obviously not a super surprise winner, but like still, not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I would have said he was probably the third most likely to win, but a pretty significant step down from those other two.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like I thought this was, this and the women's one, had some just like really like good, exciting, like set up really well, and then strong finishes. So, I'm excited to see what Priest is going to do with Money in the Bank. Has anything happened with that on some Raws that I missed? Have there been any
Well,
developments
clearly
that
we
you're aware of
saw
since then?
something happen at the end of this show as he kind
Right,
of
right,
interfered
yeah,
with Finn. Since then, it was kind of teased last Monday.
because they're on Raw, right?
Yeah, and then there was some like this week on Raw, they kind of like cleared the air between Finn and Priest because there was some tension after Priest, allegedly costing him the match, but no attempted cash. He kind of feigned it last Monday, but not this week, and I kind of hope he holds on to it for a little while. But the Judgment Day did pick up a win on Raw against Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Seth Rollins in a 6-man tag. So that's a big win for them. But I assume they're going to kind of keep sowing the seeds between Roman. God damn, I'm drunk and now a little. Between Damian and Finn, and Seth is still in this mix very much as well. So I'm very happy with it. Obviously, would have been thrilled with an LA Knight win, but he's going to get his. And I think this is the more interesting play for sure because Judgment Day, very, very prominently featured. Finn Balor's been cooking with gas lately, and Priest is fucking awesome. So I'm just happy for him.
Yeah, no, and I think like they're just definitely one of like the premier staples in all of wrestling currently, and yeah, I think this is a great place for this Money in the Bank thing to be, because none of these guys, I mean, Rhea Ripley's holding a title, so it would be like very legitimizing for them for somebody else to sneak in and get one. I mean, Seth Rollins
now they've
just
kind
won
of got a
his,
claim
so, yeah.
now after beating KO, Sammy, and Seth, and I don't remember who pinned who, but like. Rhea had approached Kevin and Sammy backstage on Raw Monday about Judgment Day should be challenging for these tag titles. So we may have a SummerSlam match between Kevin and Sammy against, I would presume, Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
That'd be exciting.
Where Kevin and Sammy would likely retain to further, kind of the dissension of the Judgment Day. But, maybe they win. Who knows? Maybe they're trying to strap up the Judgment Day, and I would not be upset about it at all.
A lot of dissension among groups. The Bloodline. I mean, WWE
They're
stables
doing
on
what?
some unstable ground.
WWE is pretty good,
Yep.
despite whatever's going on with Triple H and Stephanie
Vince and
and Nick Khan and Vince and Oscar.
all those machinations.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was very, very funny when I showed you the other day the headline of Triple H and Nick Khan trying to get Vince McMahon out.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the
Yeah. Huh.
story we're writing here? Kind
I
of.
know. Yeah. Art imitate life
Huh.
thingy.
That's
So
never happened.
yeah.
Okay, up next we have the women's tag team championships, which saw Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan win back the titles against Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. The match was fine. It was okay. Nothing too bad or too good, but clearly the story here was Shayna Baszler shockingly turning on her friend Ronda Rousey and costing them the match. I'm not too interested or invested into this. I think, Shayna and Ronda could probably have a pretty good match, both MMA backgrounds, real life friends. But, it was the match was kind of secondary to that, but good to see Liv back. Absolutely. I've always kind of liked Raquel. It seems like she's kind of angling for a title match against Rhea Ripley, which would be amazing because they had some excellent stuff on NXT a few years ago. But overall thoughts on this? You got much to say?
Not too awful much.
Yeah.
I think they needed the big, like to have this match have any sort of gravitas. They had to have the big, epic, not
We had a
necessarily
big.
epic, but big surprise. Yeah, we had a big surprising ending. And that was really the story of it. I'm kind of glad they lost just because they're just
Kind of
not a very
poopy.
interesting team, and at least
Yeah.
for me, charisma vacuums. So,
Yes.
so
Not
yeah,
just for you,
oh yeah, I
for
definitely
everyone.
prefer Liv and Raquel. Just from my standpoint, just a lot more fun.
Absolutely. Okay. My phone went. All right. Next.
Gunther defeated Matt Riddle by submission in
Yeah.
7 minutes,
Look
45
at you. You
seconds. Yeah,
get
no,
it, baby.
I got it on. I got it
Well,
on.
you
Here we
you
go.
take the lead here. Let's go.
Yeah, this was just another pretty classic Gunther dominating match. Again, Riddle, a really great competitor. Not necessarily the skill set to go against Gunther or someone you would think would beat
Defeat.
him. Yeah, because I think it's just the way it's booked. It's got to be a big guy. It's got to be somebody who's pretty big because it just doesn't seem
like Drew.
like Drew. Yeah, which that
Who
was
still
yeah.
deserves so much better.
Yeah, which that was what comes after this was a big highlight, of the show in general for
No
me.
doubt. Couple
But
big
yeah,
surprises. This being one of them, of course.
but yeah, the shortest match on the card. That from what I'm seeing here, a lot of things that were kind of close-ish to that. But yeah, by the numbers, but by the numbers, Gunther is better than by the numbers. A lot of things, Gunther's just a pretty big, imposing,
One of
dominating
the
force.
best.
This is a very dominating run. So I'm pretty excited to I think the time has to be kind of drawing near though, and I think obviously we'll zip to the end of the match where Drew McIntyre comes out in tight blue jeans and a black shirt.
He's a good-looking
Comes
man.
out to a big pop to the friendly United Kingdom crowd. Comes up.
He walks up.
He walks up and he walked up to Gunther and they touch noses, just ding, and then when they touch noses, there was the sound of a tiny bell ringing,
Which means an angel got its wings.
Yeah, so an angel got its wings, and then Drew was really pissed off about that.
Yeah, he was,
and also because Gunther pushed him, and then Drew pushed him back, and then did a big epic Dragon Ball Z charge up, into the Claymore where he really kind of shook. And then got a really, really big pop from the crowd. This might have been one of my favorite moments of the show. Yeah, like I said, I think Gunther's time is winding down. I think this is the perfect guy to win this. Somebody who just kind of has been in unfortunate limbo, who is better than that, who deserves so much better, as we've said. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Yours.
Yeah, I thought the match was really good for the time it got. 7 minutes. I thought these two went pretty full throttle for that 7 minutes. And I will refute one thing you said. I do think Matt Riddle has the skill set to take down Gunther, but not the the panache, if you will,
Yeah.
the gravitas. He's not going to be the guy to do it. But
Right.
they had a lot of matches on the indies,
Mm-hmm.
prior to WWE that were fucking really good. But you didn't know that. So, but you're absolutely right in the fact that Matt Riddle is not going to be the one, or a guy like Matt Riddle is
Yeah.
not going to be the one. But Drew
No, yeah.
McIntyre could be the one. It's
Yeah.
got to be a star at
Well,
this point.
I just think the way they book it, too, it's like Sheamus. It's a big match with him.
Yeah.
And then
And
there's
Sheamus wasn't the one to take it off.
yeah, and then there's matches with smaller guys to kind of build up to the next story. So I
And
feel like
Sheamus is even bigger than Matt Riddle,
yeah,
like physically and just
yeah,
in WWE, so to
yeah.
speak.
So
But
yeah, it seems like that's just the way, at least in the main roster, they have a book. And going against a small guy takes me back to that real awesome match he had on NXT with Tommaso Ciampa at one of the
Stand to
deliver.
Deliver
Yeah, yeah,
2021, I think it
yeah.
was.
Where he just chopped Tommaso Ciampa into Sui. So yeah.
When we were drunk on Bishop's show.
Oh God, we were wasted.
Good old Tom from the broadcast. Good to have you here as always. Thank you for tuning in, brother.
Tom's from Australia, right?
Yeah,
The land
yeah.
down under.
He missed our
No,
Australia talk earlier. Yeah.
So like in the whole joke was confusing. When people confuse Austria with Australia. But what
Like
if you
from
confuse
Dumb and Dumber.
Australia? But what if it was the other way around and
Yeah.
someone was like, "Oh yeah, that's where Arnold Schwarzenegger's from,"
Yeah, JCB Riddle versus Walter was fire in Progress Wrestling.
And
I
that's
have seen that match.
and that's the British, the
Correct.
British
Yeah,
progress.
progress, if you will.
Progress wrestling. Okay.
But yeah, like you said, the story was Drew coming out fucking looking great. I'll put you on the spot. Obviously, we're less than a month away from SummerSlam. There's a pretty good chance I'll be there. JCB will be there. You may be there. We'll see. Right up the road in Detroit. Do you think Drew takes the Intercontinental title off Gunther?
Well, I think SummerSlam's, one of if not their second biggest pay-per-view,
It pretty much is.
Yeah, I mean, you
Royal
got to
Rumble right there as well. But
yeah, there's going to be some sort of a title change. I think this feels more likely than
Jey Uso beating Roman.
Yeah, than Jey Uso beating Roman, even though that would be titanic. Not
Really
going to be
great.
Kevin or Sammy, not going to be Seth Rollins, not going to be Rhea Ripley. Yeah, my money's on this.
I think so too, as we stand now. I mean, it feels like the right person and the right time, and to move Gunther up, because he has reestablished this Intercontinental title to the glory days of, the 80s, early 90s. Hopefully it can stay that way. And I think Drew would be a great person to carry that lineage on because he is a legitimate star.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's still, I think he had tweeted or said something like he still longs for his moment in front of a live crowd, because he won the WWE title against Lesnar in an empty arena at whatever WrestleMania that was. So, this ain't the world championship, but a win over Gunther would be fucking massive. So I'm with you. I think Drew's going to take it because if not now, who and when? I wouldn't, not that I'd be upset that he holds it till WrestleMania and, they give him that longest Intercontinental title reign of all time because he's definitely deserving. So, but yeah, I think I'm for Drew here.
Yeah, I am too.
Heck yeah. You can continue to steer the ship here, brother.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe this is the point when John Cena came out. Was this the point when John Cena came out?
Let's see.
It doesn't say it on the Wikipedia.
No, next is Cody and Dominic.
Okay, yeah, which this was, a pretty simple, straightforward thing. Cody defeating Dominic with Rhea Ripley in 8 minutes, 40 seconds. Cody got a pretty big pop, in his very Apollo Creedy, American kind of uniform in front of the UK crowd. Yeah, I mean, this was just sort of seemed like a stepping stone in both of their stories. Where kind of both of these stories kind of like are meeting, but they're going two different directions.
Yeah.
So like
definitely most predictable thing on the show for sure.
Yeah. But I think Dominic turned in a decent enough performance, like competent, I guess. It would be a good way of putting it. Yeah, just kind of like I said, both of these stories are passing each other, going opposite directions, and they're just meeting at this moment, and then they're long gone. So
Yeah,
that's just my general feelings toward
I
this.
think you put it beautifully. I don't really have much to add. Cody was a shoo-in to win this. I thought Dom was, decent enough, like you said. Charisma wise, character wise, he's definitely getting better, and it's easy to do that when you're just getting heinously booed. But
Yeah.
he's definitely grown a lot, and excuse me, I'm digging it, and I'm hoping Cody Brock 3 will be something very good, because the
Yes.
second installment, especially, I thought fucking sucked. One of my least favorite matches of the year. I thought the first was decent, but I'm hoping they dial it up for this SummerSlam match.
Yeah, they need to definitely. Um, and is John Cena next?
Let's see. Yes, it is.
I did it. So,
Hey, da, 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 da. Yeah,
so
there's
John
another big
Cena.
fucking surprise here.
Yes, yeah. So he comes out to a big pop. So one quick thing about John Cena too, I did see today on Twitter. He's one of the Kens in the upcoming Barbie movie. He's
I
playing
did see
the
that as
mermaid
well.
Ken. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that should be pretty fun. He's getting in on those shenanigans.
And then you
But
got to feel that's going to be a pretty big movie,
oh yeah,
with who's in it and the hype it's getting.
oh yeah, well that and I'm sure you've heard of the whole Barbenheimer stuff.
No, I
Okay,
have
so
not.
it's coming out the same weekend as Oppenheimer, and a lot of people are wanting to do a double feature of like Barbie and then Oppenheimer because
Oh,
they're
okay.
two vastly different films.
Yeah.
And like Christopher Nolan has gotten in on it, and then who's the director? Greta Gerwig, the Barbie direct, the kind of cast and crew of
Okay.
each movie have like sort of built up the meme and
That's fun.
have expressed support for each other. So I think
That's
like
good.
I think if you were to go to insert random theater on the Friday that they come out, you'll see a lot of people doing that and having
I
fun.
dig
So
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of meme. So anywho, yeah, John Cena comes out in not in his Barbie attire. I wish it would be,
Yeah,
but
it's a shame.
he does come out. Really hypes the crowd up, building up to a WrestleMania in London, which we were kind of thinking like, what are the WrestleManias that haven't been announced yet? Obviously he's not going to go out there and do that and then have nothing to show for it down the road.
Yeah.
I remember, that discussion was hot. He kind of did that, riled up the crowd. Out comes Grayson Waller.
Yeah.
The
Which, had
piss.
you seen him before this at all?
No,
Yeah, I
this is
didn't
my
think
first
so.
Waller experience.
He's got charisma for sure.
He does, yeah. So he kind of came, and like, it's just kind of sort of a like it was kind of neat just to see sort of somebody. I know he's more known to more frequent WWE watchers than me, but like someone
Also
who's
an
kind of
Australian.
also an Australian who came in there to rile up John Cena a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought, and he was pitching the WWE WrestleMania in Australia, which we were talking. We were like, okay, like if that were to be a thing, if we had WrestleMania down under, which would be super cool.
Yeah.
Like when would it start in Louisville, Kentucky? It would be
3, 4, 5
3 or 4
a.m.
a.m.
probably. Yeah.
Which like I assume WWE would not bite for that. But
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
I think it would be fun to do personally.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would make for
it'd just
a really
be like watching a New Japan show live, essentially.
Oh yeah,
But
just
I do want to say I do love when in London the 3 p.m. start time is fucking beautiful, and it timed out perfectly because I had to work at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
I think the show ended at like 6:30 something. So yeah, I love that afternoon.
Yeah, no, I like that. Clash of the Castle was like that. The Saudi shows have been. I think they started like at 11, didn't they?
They're like noon, something like that.
But still, though, it's like a college football game on a Saturday. That's a pretty nice, nice matinee kind of feel to it.
Absolutely.
To your evening, which yeah, I appreciate that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, but yeah, just generally, Cena, there was a great surprise. Loved it. I think a WrestleMania in London would be beautiful. I think, like we said, it's got to happen at this point. They wouldn't trot him out there and talk about it that, intently without plans in the future.
Well, and
So.
you've got Wembley there, and AEW is doing it, so
And I think
you
that's a
know that they're going to
response
do
to
it.
them doing, it's like, oh, AEW's running this. All right, we'll sell more tickets than them, which I
Yeah,
guarantee is going to happen.
right.
So, yeah, it's great. And Waller, I thought this was a great spot for him for sure. He's definitely an up and comer and a guy they, have high hopes in. I
Mhm.
haven't seen a ton of his wrestling per se. But it was it was some sort of special stipulation match they had at the end of the year last year. Can't remember what it was called, but Waller ended up winning it and really impressed me in that match. And he, like I said, clearly got charisma. So he wrestled Edge on SmackDown this past Friday. I didn't watch it, but again, they're putting him in these spots. He lost, but again, a big spot for him. And I think he just got healthy from injury. So, future's definitely bright for Grayson Waller.
Yeah, with his talking ability, he'll be around in a more prominent role very shortly.
Absolutely.
Speaking of prominence, the wrestler we wanted to win the women's Money in the Bank match.
We got it.
We got it. We got what we wanted. Io Sky defeats Bayley, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Zelina Vega, and Zoe Stark in 18 minutes and 5 seconds to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, the women's one. And again, kind of same feelings as the men's match. This was just set up and just blocked out really well. There wasn't just all this chaos and ladders flying everywhere. It was, 2 or 3 ladders in the ring, some stuff going on the outside, but it was just parsed and separated it out.
Io hit that beautiful moonsault pretty early on everyone. But generally, like you said, both Money in the Bank matches were awesome and just very nicely paced and blocked out, like you said. And clearly the finish here was just a work of art.
Yeah, it was. And this even a little definitely a little bit more distinct than the men's too, just with the handcuffs. And you thought that, she was just going to handcuff one of them to a rung or to that horizontal bar. I don't know what it's called in a ladder that kind of holds the two vertical sides together. That's not
I think a rung. I think rung is the right term.
But I mean, I know a rung is like the things you step on, but the thing that the thing that extends when you pull the ladder out.
Yeah.
But what was it? Where was I at here? But handcuffing them both together, I think was a pretty good stroke of genius.
And then Io climbing over Bayley specifically to get the win was a nice touch. And there was a moment earlier on in the match where it seemed like Bayley was going to screw Io to get the win. So, you had the Becky Trish shit going on. Yeah, this was probably the best women's Money in the Bank. I think there's only been 7. But yeah, this was really, really good. I went 4.5 on the men's and 4.25 on this, but awesome stuff. And so glad Io got the win. Very deserving.
Yeah, she's great. But I think this was just I don't know, just a really good, just kind of, I don't know, just that real just fun kind of ending. And then who was it who did that kind of, what was it? Was it a power bomb, off the ladder or something, or was it a moonsault? They kind of had him in sort of one of those holds, this is me not knowing what the moves are, but where your legs are wrapped around someone, not like a power bomb where
the flip over power.
The flip over. Yeah. It was like
sunset
a flip over
bomb.
Sunset bomb.
I don't remember who did it.
Yeah, it was Zelina Vega or was Io. It was one of those two.
Yeah, Zelina. Yeah, I think it might have been Zelina. That sounds right.
But that was a, like I said, just great spots. Even better finish. This really brought it. Both Money in the Bank matches again. Just really good stuff. Also, that part of the ladder I was referring to, it's called a spreader.
Oh, okay.
Pretty simply named.
Super spreader.
Yeah, super spreader.
With COVID. Remember when there was a COVID super spreader?
Super spreader. And then there's now they're referring to the super shredder.
That's what I was. That's what I was.
Who was Kevin Nash?
Yes, that's right.
Who's Kevin Nash? Yeah, Kevin Nash.
Who recently talked shit about LA Knight on a podcast. He's like, he's a rip off of The Rock. And then a lot of people came to his defense. But yeah. Super spreader. Yeah, no, I was definitely referring to super shredder at first. I remembered the COVID thing, but
I remember my cousin had a super shredder action figure. And it was always smaller than the original Shredder, which is really silly because the Super Shredder, like that's why they got Kevin Nash to play him because he's like 7 foot tall. Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, I always thought that was really weird.
Yeah. All right. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, eh?
Yes, Seth freaking Rollins in our next match defeats Finn Balor to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. 12 in a very brisk 12 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'll have the pretty similar analysis as the Gunther Riddle match.
Yeah,
great for the time given. You had the tease with Damian Priest at the end, which was intriguing, and Seth getting the quick win after. But good work, throughout this for sure. But just never even really got to that second gear.
It didn't, yeah. Not a lot of time for things to like breathe. It just kind of, it reminded me of sort of a movie that rushes from plot point to plot point that doesn't really give you time to like sort of sit. And yeah, especially with like ramifications coming at the end of this with the Priest Finn Balor thing that's like still being resolved or was resolved.
I think they're probably going to do this match again at SummerSlam.
Probably, yeah.
Like that's kind of how it's building, and maybe we see the Demon Finn Balor, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe that gimmick has jumped the shark too much at this point. But regardless, I know you haven't seen all the promos, but Finn Balor has been maybe the best he's been on the main roster in the last like 3 weeks to a month. Like the promo work has been excellent. He's just been beating the shit out of Seth. So I was a little disappointed by this match, but if they're doing it again at SummerSlam and they give them 20 minutes,
which they should
go. But yeah, this was like 12 and change and just didn't really have the opportunity to be a great match, but was good. 3 3.75, 3 3/4 stars. It was good, not great.
And it's a bigger offender of this than the Gunther Matt Riddle one because it had story stuff that just kind of got jammed in there.
And it's a world championship.
Yeah. And so it just kind of, it just seemed kind of footnotey, kind of compared to, the other big stuff here. I definitely think, you
the two Money in the Banks and then the main event, which we'll talk, were all tremendous. And this will just be forgotten.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully they make up for it or recontextualize it when, these guys inevitably go up against each other again at SummerSlam. But, our final match, though, I mean, just kind of just enthralling, engaging, enticing. Love this story. Best thing WWE's had going for it in just
many years.
And just not a knock on WWE, but just like a praise for how compelling this is
and how long it's been, how long this has been going on and how long it's been compelling.
Yes, and the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, defeat the Bloodline of Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa with Paul Heyman.
And Roman being pinned, and it's been 3.5 years
since Roman had been pinned.
Yeah.
But the Usos do it. 32 minutes, 10 seconds. I mean, this just kind of.
I went insane at the end.
Yeah, you talk about like something that has an extra gear that after that near fall where you think it's over, or the second one, where it's like that. It hit 2 extra gears.
And it did, let's be honest, it did start slow. The first half, I'd say, first 15 minutes was not great. Like, I'm not going to say it was bad, but it was just, kind of going through the motions a little bit. And then it just fucking clicked and was so good. Like I think we both picked Roman and Solo. I'm pretty sure.
We did. Yeah.
I never would have thought Roman would have gotten the pin here, but it makes so much sense. And I love it. And it's the first kind of crack we've seen from him, in years, frankly. 3.5 since he's been pinned. So, it's a big fucking deal. And for Jay to get the pin was definitely the right call. He and Roman have been entangled in this since the beginning. So I fucking loved it.
Yeah, no, I loved it too. I mean, just continuing just to ignite and just to amplify this plot and like giving the Usos just like something to like really roll with, and the crowd was just all about it. I mean, like this was just a great moment.
Crowd all night.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that Drew pop was big, but then like, and Jay pinning Roman, I mean, that was just, surprising what people wanted, and yeah, I mean, just once again, just continuing to be excited where this goes. And,
Did you happen to hear what happened on this week's SmackDown?
No, I did not. What did?
So basically, Roman kind of was pissed off at first, and then like essentially gave Jay like the necklace, the tribal chief necklace, and put it on him and kneeled in front of it. You should watch it. Like he was in tears. Like it was actually a really good acting job by Roman Reigns, and where I was like, oh shit. And then he fucking low blowed him when he was on his knees, like praising the new tribal chief, low blowed his ass, and he and Solo laid them both the fuck out.
Yeah.
But it was, again, very, very well done. And like Heyman, again, who's been the linchpin of all of this shit. And I know he's booking a lot of it too, backstage. Like he's helping write this storyline. But like when Roman like gave him the necklace, like you see Heyman in the back, like literally in like almost in tears. And then he gets on his knees and he's just like flabbergasted, like, oh my God, like my world is crumbling.
Yeah, because Heyman had some great expressions in this one too. I remember like, what was it when like Jay picked up Roman to get out of some like hold, and you could just see him like blurry in the back.
Yeah.
But you can just see the expressiveness even with that like out of focus kind of.
He's the fucking best, man.
He is the best. And like, I'm curious to see sort of like what role he's going to play in like the deconstruction of the bloodline or the
one episode we need to do soon when we don't have a week where we got an idea. There's a fucking documentary about Paul Heyman on Peacock now that is tremendous, just about how he got into the business and formed ECW and everything thereafter. The guy has been a hustler since day one, and yeah, I love him and I got so much respect for him. But it is like Staves watched it with me one time and he was blown away.
Yeah.
It's just great. He's just got an incredible story and he's so fucking good at what he does.
Yeah. And so he founded ECW?
He essentially bought it from someone when it was just like an indie or a territory, for lack of a better term, and made it into what it became. Extreme. Yeah. It was Eastern Championship Wrestling. He made it Extreme Championship Wrestling, and what we all know ECW to be today. So, yeah, that's you don't really know much about his preview, but like he got a fucking legend well before he was just a performer on our TV screens. So,
yeah,
but yeah, great stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Money in the Bank, great. Just a lot of really, really great.
Very, very good WWE pay-per-view this year.
And I think we have SummerSlam all in, all out. Hype I think is for both of those at a pretty good level. So let's see if we can send 2023 home. Just as a pretty all around
as we're at the halfway point here.
Yeah, especially like AEW, good like. You need a real good return to form because Forbidden Door pretty good after Double or Nothing was pretty mid. I think you really need to nail this all out thing.
Yeah. I will say I did rewatch Ospreay Omega 2 for the first time. And I'm sticking with it. I think the first match was better. But still incredible. It's still the second best match of the year and one of the best matches of all time. But still prefer the first. I think the callous interference, while it was very compelling and great, takes away a little of like the quality of just the pure brilliance. But I just wanted to say that. But all right.
All right.
We'll hopefully be back next week. The old Vince and the Machine, slows us down a little bit and our schedules, but we're doing our best to come at you every week for sure.
We are coming.
And like you said, it's a hot time right now with a lot of good shit coming up on the horizon.
Yeah, so we will be there for it.
Yes,
guaranteed.
I'm buzzed. I need to lay down.
I know, man. Yeah, I do too.
Eat some food, maybe.
You need to get out of this empty room.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Well, good shit.
Good shit, homie. All right,
you all. Thank you.
Love you. Smell you later.
See ya.